Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for anybody who's not in communication with an Aries right now. That's right, you heard me. No communication with Aries. Right off the bat, guys, welcome to my channel. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, you're also welcome. Everybody's welcome here, even in people who really don't like me, but they tend to watch me. I don't care. Anyway, kind of like I just said, this is intended for people who are not in communication with Aries. Aries, I'm pretty sure some of you will be watching because your name is on the tin, and that makes sense. You know, you see your name on something, you kind of click it, so that's perfectly all right. But again, this is essentially a cross-watcher forward video, so if you happen to be dealing with an Aries, but you guys are not in communication right now, no texting, no calls, no letter writing, no, cryptograms or cryptic messages or anything like that, nothing, nada, no. Then this is the absolute reading for you. I did this reading back in September or October last year. I think it was October. And it got pretty good reviews, so I'm bringing it back, or not reviews, but reception. So I'm bringing it back now, but it's a little bit tweaked. So what you're going to see here is you're going to see messages from Aries to you, viewer. If you were wondering, what is Aries thinking? What would they say to me if they had the chance to speak? Do they have anything that they want to admit to? This is the perfect reading. We're going to put that in the front of the reading. You will also see the reverse of that, because again, most likely Aries will watch this, and maybe that Aries is curious about what you, viewer, would want to say to them. So that is in the second half of the reading. And then also, I'm changing this up a little bit, so it's a little bit more free form. But first thing that I changed from last time is we have two oracle decks. One will be from Aries to the viewer, and one will be from the viewer to Aries. I don't know which one is which yet. We'll decide that in a second. And then also, we're actually going to shuffle on camera, and we're going to clarify some things if we need clarification. It's going to be a little bit more, live, so to speak, because usually with my readings, I shuffle off camera and I set it out, and then I just read what comes out, So it's a little less structured, even though it's still totally structured. I have a lot of fixed energy in my chart. I like things with structure. If you don't like that, sorry. Anything else? Oh yes, in the description box, the timestamp is down there, so you could skip ahead over the rest of the talking I'm going to do and the shuffling I'm going to do and get right to the start of the reading. You're welcome. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal with me. If you have questions before you place an order, email me and I'll answer you as well. If you want to do a donation and not actually pay for a reading, you can use the same PayPal link that's below. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment, okay? All right, let's get into this. Please, let's see which deck, because the first half is, again, going to be messages from Aries to you, viewer. So let's see which deck Aries will actually be using for their oracle, okay? Which deck has the oracle message from Aries to the viewer? Which deck oracle, from Aries to the viewer? Which deck? That felt good. Yeah. Yeah, okay. They're like, it feels like it could go either way, but this felt stronger. We'll say that. It felt a little sharper. If I'm honest, there was like a feeling across my pinky that really did it for me. Let's say that. Messages from Aries to the viewer. This is the Angelarium deck, Oracle deck. It's confusing. It's very deep. It's very, very deep. I think it's a Kabbalah base. Yes, it's Kabbalah base. So it's definitely not something I'm well versed in, but we're going to do an intuitive read, and then we're going to actually read from the book to see what the author has to say about it. But just so you guys know, Angelarium ain't nothing to mess with. It is very deep. Let's see the message from Aries to the viewer. Messages from Aries to the viewer. There's like a lot of hesitation. Like what I was doing up there, and now that I'm in this, because I pre-shuffle and I meditate off camera and I come on, and there's a lot of hesitation here. I'm going to say that. One more. Aries to the viewer. Two more. Thank you. Aries to the viewer. Thank you. Okay. Aries to the viewer, what's the message? Aries to the viewer. Aries might not want to talk at all. They might be very uncertain of what to say. Might have no desire to say anything. Who knows? Aries, from Aries to the viewer, what is the message? All right. They're like, stop. Duma, angel of dreams. Angel of dreams. All right. Some of them might have significant dreams about you, viewer. Or they might be only wanting to speak to you in dreams. Maybe, you know, actually coming out and talking to you face to face is just like not on the table, not something they want to do. I don't know. But, let's see. Duma, angel of dreams. There's a sense of like, I feel that Aries might have big dreams or desires in their life. And that is their focus. That is their goal. That is their priority, is to move on, to see about accomplishing and seeing their dreams come to life. There's a priority possibly for Aries in what is not concrete right now, what is not in their life right now, where there are missing pieces, where there have been desires left unfulfilled. It feels as though Aries wants you to know that is my goal, that is my priority. And in some cases, whether that hurts you or upsets you or not, Aries doesn't really care. In other cases, they know it upsets you or hurts you and they are sorry. So that'll go either way, you know. But because this angel is like playing with like this golden yarn or this, I don't know what you would call it, but there's like something in their hands and like it's like a tether or like a rope or something like that. Whatever it is in their hands, and it's like theirs. It's possessive. So, let's see what the book says, because I'm sure it's not going to say much of that. And these are not in alphabetical order, so it might be a minute until I find it. I like this deck, but I also struggle with this deck. Duma. Oh my gosh. Literally. Have to go page by page. Not alphabetical. No, I mean, I'm sure it's organized according to what the author wanted, but I don't know. All right. Duma is the the impetus. Thank you. Duma is the impetus to doubt a false reality, to crack the shell keeping you from the truth. When the world shifts around you, Duma is your guide. The world is stranger than you believed it to be. What we all dream, we dream together. Those dreams pool together in Duma's cupped hands. Look below the surface of water. Look below the surface of water. You know you've missed something, and yet you wonder what. You listen closely, and yet you hear nothing. All the while, you dream the truth you think you seek. It is said that Duma and Lilul are connected. The truth of this can only be found within Angelarium. Signs: a reflection in water, a golden cage, an eye. Again, this deck, it's kind of crazy. I need to study it more. I rolled this die to see which decks came out for this reading, and this is the one that was chosen. So there is this like thing of what is unseen, sort of like what the book just said. Like what's beneath the surface here, what, you know, something about possibilities or, you know, things being within grasp, but they're not real or they're not tangible yet. Dreams, making something that's intangible, that's in a fantasy, that's not real, become real. Maybe that's what Aries is all about right now. We'll see. So that's why we have the tarot deck, because it's a lot easier to interpret sometimes than Oracle decks. So let's get into it. Messages from Aries to the viewer. Hey, that doesn't count. I wasn't done shuffling. So messages from Aries to the viewer. What would Aries like to say to them if the lines of communication were to open up? If Aries were to be given a chance to speak? If the viewer would give them a chance? Whatever the situation may be. Aries to the viewer, what are the messages? Yes, good. Thank you. That was an interesting feeling. I don't even know how to describe that. Aries to the viewer. Again. Aries to the viewer. Thank you. Three of Wands. Aries to the viewer. And the Ten of Swords in reverse. Anything else? Yes. They're like, one more. Get one more. All right, one more. Three of Swords. Okay. Three of Wands. Ten of Swords reversed. Three of Swords. Or, excuse me. Yeah, Three of Swords. I was like, Three of Wands? No, Three of Swords. So, viewer. In some cases, Aries is sorry about the pain that has transpired between you. In some cases, not all. Just to be, because I said that. Some are sorry, some are not. Just throwing it out there. Three of Wands. This woman looks like she's escaping, right? Like in the middle of the night with this candelabra. I don't know why she's dressed up like that. If you're running away, that's not the proper attire. But there is this interest in moving forward. So they're gone. They don't want to come back. Pressing forward, pushing forward, moving on. Dunzo. I don't know why. I don't know the context. Maybe we'll clarify, but whatever was upstairs, if in terms of this card, whatever existed upstairs or whatever exists within this house, this woman doesn't want it. And I'm only talking about a woman because there's a woman on the card. You could be dealing with a male. It doesn't matter. But whatever is there in the now, in the present, in the physical surroundings of this person on this card, they don't want it. There is a rush. There is a panic. There is a push to get out. So Aries is gone. Gone, gone, gone. They don't want to be where they are. They don't want to be where they were. Progression. Move forward. Move forward. Yeah? Ten of Swords reversed. Aries would tell you there has been pain. There has been suffering. There has been betrayal. You to them to you. It doesn't really matter. Or rather, you know what it is. You know what it is. Ooh, okay. You know what it is. Ooh. More. Thank you. More. You know what this is. Huh. The bigger part of this, you know what it is Aries would tell you, you know what you did. You know what you did. Okay. Okay. So some of these Aries are a little defensive, or they're very bitter? They're hurt. If it's reversed, you know that. If it's mutual, you know that. But the bigger message coming out is, you know that you hurt them. You know that you betrayed them. And blame may or may not be the name of the game. Blame may or may not be fair. But that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like Aries. Thank you. To clarify. Thank you. They're like, no. The blame is put on the hurt. Whoever did it, whether it was you to them to you, mutual, whatever it is, the issue is the blame. The issue is the barbs between you. Thank you. There could have been really nasty exchanges between you and Aries. Nasty words, violent acts in some cases, and it just got too far out of hand. Like the disrespect, the disloyalty, the attacks, the verbal attacks, the physical attacks, the pain. It was just too much to bear. Thank you. Too much to bear, so it's over. It has to be let go of. It has to be moved away from. There's no point in trying to solve something so deep and hurtful and just, for God's sakes, terrible. Okay. Dunzo. Aries is like, I'm done. I move away from this. I want to move away from this. We need to move away from this. Whatever it is. This is done. No more. Three of Swords. As a reader, you know, as people who may or may not be familiar with tarot, you may or may not understand, or not understand, but perceive this to be a third-party situation. If you do, and if that's your situation, go for it. Caveat on my channel, if you don't know, third-party situation is not always about cheating. It's not always about romantic endeavors or entanglements, okay? A third-party situation can exist between friends and family members, all right? Doesn't always have to mean cheating, you know, on a long-term or short-term or marriage or anything like that. It doesn't matter. But if you know third-party is your shit, if you know that fits into your storyline, Aries would tell you, yeah, that factors in here. But beyond the third-party situation implications, this is like a brutalization. I don't know if, because it's going to go either way. This is a general. This is not specific to your situation. So please, if I say you did it to Aries, please don't get down and be like, I didn't do shit to Aries. They did it to me. It's a general. It could go the other way. But this is an attack. I mean, look at the art. I mean, it's a fantasy because, you know, we presume a woman lying in a coffin is a vampire, right? And, you know, a stake through the heart. But what is that? It's an attack. You know, it's meant to hurt. It's meant to destroy the other person or destroy the vampire, right? Now, okay, thank you. They're like, in the real world, you know, not this depiction, the intention we can't presume is what they want me to say. Or we can't speak to that in this general. In this artwork, the person who's killing the vampire, their intention is to kill, right? What Aries meant or what you meant, that's kind of neither here nor there. But the pain, the attack, okay, there you go. Having the sense, the knowing, thank you. Having the knowing of what was going to happen if you did XYZ or if Aries did XYZ was there. This vampire hunter doesn't go creeping into the night, opening up a coffin with a stake and a mallet in their hand, thinking, I'm going to make this vampire a PB&J sandwich. No, I'm going to go in there and kill this fucker. So there is this knowing of what you're doing. You know what you're going to do will hurt the other person. That is what goes on here. So Aries is not about that, whether they did it to you or you to them or whatever it is. All of this contextually feels like the past or the reason why you guys are not talking. The reason why you're not communicating is pain. The reason why you guys have fallen out or why things got to be what they are with you today is because of the hurt and the betrayal and the knowing that behaving in such manners, or since there's a multitude of swords here, speaking in certain manners was going to lead to this. If you talk to someone in a negative way, them to you, you to them, it doesn't matter. If you speak to someone negatively over and over and over enough, eventually there's a breaking point. Eventually something has to change or somebody has to go. Somebody can't take that anymore, so they get out. So, this is by far, so far, one of them, well, this is quite an intense one so far. I curiously would want to know more about the Three of Swords, but I think you guys would know about it, so I don't think I need to clarify what you understand. I mean, well, maybe. They're like, well, maybe some don't know. Maybe some of you don't know what the Three of Swords was. Maybe, all right, give me one. I'm going to clarify with one. One on the Three of Swords. Why is the Three of Swords here? Hey, can I reach it? Yes, I can. Yay! Queen of Pentacles. Earth sign energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You guys could be earth signs, or there's an earth sign of significance, possibly. It's still general, so don't hold on to that too tightly, but here we go. a very attractive person, regardless of their gender, male, female, it doesn't matter. But a very attractive person is the reason of the Three of Swords. Okay? Somebody who is stable, somebody who's secure, someone who's nurturing, someone who's loving, someone who's compassionate, someone who, in the eye of the beholder, whether it was your eyes or Aries' eyes, it doesn't matter, but somebody who was sexy, very fertile with the bunny. Okay, we got a rabbit on the scene, equals fertility. They could be a mother or a father already. And it's just something about, I gotta touch it. I gotta touch it. I have to know this person. I have to seek them. I'm attracted to this person. I want to know them. I want to work with them. I want to sleep with them. Whatever it was, this person unintentionally, because we're talking about this person, whoever this Queen of Pentacles is, whether they were tempting Aries or not, or whether they were tempting you, viewer, or not, it doesn't matter. But this person was viewed as a temptation, as a sweet piece of whatever that needed to be touched. All right. And again, third party does not have to mean sexual or romantic. This could have been, a sweet piece of business, a sweet offer. All right. With Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, this is somebody who might be an investor, or just might be somebody who has something of material value that whomever, you or them, needed to be in contact with. I need to work with that person. They're going to do this with my life, or they're going to help me with that. You know what I mean? So that's why. All right. Easy enough with that clarification. What are the other messages from Aries to the viewer? More messages from Aries to the viewer, please. Ten of Wands. Come on, man. This is over. From Aries' perspective, at least. Ten of Wands. Seven of Swords. Jesus Christ. I apologize for sniffling so much. I'm still a little congested. I really gotta cut sugar out of my diet. Oh, God. Anything else from Aries to the viewer? Thank you. And the King of Wands. All right. All right. Ten of Wands. Burden. Seven of Swords. Secrets. King of Wands. Dominion. That's interesting that they gave me like single words to describe those cards. But yeah, burden, ending. In this depiction, we see a woman, presumably a witch, being burned at the stake. This is a very fatalistic and finalized energy coming from Aries. So number one, remember what was going on. They didn't want to come out with an oracle card. I spent a little time shuffling the tarot. I told you, like, Aries is not even possibly wanting you to be looking at a video about them. They don't want you to even think about them in some cases, like leave me alone, or if they were to, in some cases, own their shit, maybe some of them would say, there's no reason for you to think about me, I'm a piece of shit, whatever. But that's, relative to your individual situations. Now, Ten of Wands, and in other depictions of the Ten of Wands, you will see someone carrying the wands with their hands, or they're trying to balance them in their arms, or whatever it is, or they're on their back, but they're loose. Here we see this woman strapped to the Ten of Wands. No, and with flames all around her. No escape. No redemption. No possibility of laying down this burden. So there you go. In some of your cases, Aries is guilty. They feel guilty. They acknowledge that they're guilty. Would they say it to you? Would they verbalize it to you? Maybe not. Because with the wands, sometimes it can indicate communication or some type of action. But again, I'm getting like this contorted. No, that's not the word. What's the constrained? Thank you. Constrained is the word. I'm getting a constriction. Something being pulled in tight. Trussed up. Like you would truss up the legs of a turkey, or you would truss up if you were a hunter or something like that, and you would have to like strap down the animal that you killed to like your vehicle. Like you put all these ropes and these binds around the thing that is yours, right? So there is this binding, there is this constriction that Aries has or feels or acknowledges of guilt, of burden. They were a burden to you, you were a burden to them, whatever it is. There is this, it was so difficult, or again, I own how difficult I was in this relationship, how I was when we were in communication with each other. I know I was not the best person, or I know that it was hard for you to deal with me, whatever it is, you know, and it's going both ways, because again, this is a general. Some Aries, they know they were a dick. They know they were not acting the right way. Perfect. Other cases, they feel it was you, viewer, who was this way. It's a general, so we're not going to get, 100% one way or the other. But yeah, there's this constriction and there's this restraint, or the pressure that the wands would give to a person is strapped to this woman's back. I keep getting, like, when you tighten something with a rope, you do this motion, you tighten it. This is tightly on them. Even though you guys aren't talking, even though Aries may have moved on, this is still, it's still here. Thank you. It's still here. The feeling of the burn. Ooh. And I don't mean that in a political way here in the US, the feeling of the burn. But the feeling of these flames and the intensity and the drama and the volatility of your connection, they can still feel it. Okay, thank you. In some of your cases, they still have the scars, or you still have the scars, or whatever it is. There was just this, it still burns. We can still feel the flames of this connection. Not in a passionate, ooh, let's restart something. No, the flame and fire as in pain, as in burning, okay? Please don't be like some, so Aries knows it was a burden, and Aries knows this was painful, and Aries acknowledges that, on your side, their side, they know the deal. 7 of Swords. Secrets, secrecy, sneaky behavior. Some will say this is the card of like cheating and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, the 3 of Swords did come out, so yes, that is here for those where it plays. Where those, this is not about cheating, because I don't necessarily feel in the majority of cases this is about a cheating scenario or some type of third-party intrusion. No, in some of your cases, this is just about pain and adversarial energy and difficulty existing between two people, you and them, viewer, okay? And nobody else was involved. You two together was a shit show, if I'm honest, okay? That's what this feels like in some cases. In other cases, it is about third party, and you already know it. So this would confirm that 3 of Swords for those where it plays. For those where there was no intrusion, no third party situation, but just the pain and the exhaustion and the flurry of, what is that? Flurry of swords. Yeah, they're showing me like swords being stabbed. Oh, 7 of Swords. So, I think they acknowledge that you both, or they, could have been more honest with each other. They could have been more honest with themselves, maybe. Or honest with you, or whatever it is. There's this distrust that started, or that existed, that was never curtailed. That was never reined in, that was never handled. There was distrust, dishonesty, miscommunication in some cases, lack of communication in other cases, because the 7 of Swords can also, I mean, look at this woman. She's not announcing herself. She's not saying, hey, I'm over here. She doesn't want to be found by those figures down the staircase. So there's silence. She has to be quiet, right? So there's this miscommunication or lack of communication that added to why you are now in not communicating. This is a intense one. This is, oh my God. storage issues. But anyway, this is a very interesting one to me because it feels as though if Aries was the bad guy or the bad girl, whatever it is, I feel like they acknowledge it. If you were the bad one, they acknowledge it. If you both had, bad deeds or you were not at your best selves together, they acknowledge this. And this runs the gamut. This is beyond romance. This is friends. This is family. This is, whatever it is, whatever your relationship was. And there's a lot of maybe not ownership, but there's at least seeing, if not ownership, at least recognizing the darkness, the shit show that was when you guys were in communication. And I think Aries is resigned to the fact or the reality that things are better now that we don't talk, now that we don't communicate, now that we have no contact. Hopefully things are better for both of us. Because if we were to, because again, the question is, what would Aries say to you? I think Aries would acknowledge the past and all the crap that existed then, all the bad deeds, all the poor decisions and terrible actions that both of you have taken or they took or you took or whatever it was. They would acknowledge that. But then I think they would also acknowledge that if we were to come into contact at this very moment, all of that stuff would come back to the surface. Nothing here is healed. Nothing here is giving me the sense that you or them are in a better place. This is all still very, very prominent on their side. Whether or not they've worked on things, whether or not they're in a position to forgive you, to forgive themselves, I don't know what is necessary, but I don't feel that has happened. So, what does that mean? This is a few weeks, few months, they're like, all of it. I'm like, few weeks, few months? No, all of it. If you have been not talking to an Aries for 4 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is, this is the energy for you. If this is the energy where you haven't talked to Aries for 10 years, this is the energy for you. Something here has not really moved on their end, and maybe it's bitterness, maybe it's, a lack of forgiveness on your end, on their end, I don't know. But there's, this is heavy, this is intense, this is brutal. This is very brutal energy that I feel. King of Wands, also. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be them. You could be another fire sign. It doesn't really matter. Wow. And another vampire. So in this sense, the King of Wands is a vampire. He's got, come on. He has the trickle of blood at his mouth, and you see the bite marks on the woman's neck. Drained, done, and all right, in some of your cases, Aries would acknowledge they killed the situation. They deaded this. They deaded this whole thing. They cut you off. They did the deed, or they behaved in a certain way that made you pull the cord on it, to cut the cord on it, whatever, to put a stake in it, whatever it is. Some of them, not all, some of them would acknowledge, I'm the reason this is over. Me. I drained it. I sucked the blood out of this situation. Out of you. If this was to be in some of their minds, maybe this is a representation of what your relationship was. They drained you. Sucked the blood right out of your body. Took every last ounce of whatever you had to offer for their own gain, for their own sustenance, okay? Some of them might acknowledge that. Some. Not all. But, well, here's the caveat with me saying that. And they're not really apologetic about it. Because, if a vampire needs blood to sustain itself at the cost of a human life, that's what they're going to do. They're going to suck the blood out of a human and essentially, here we go. Got a dead lady in my hands. So there's this acknowledgement of, yeah, I might have been the cause. In, again, some of the cases, I'm the cause for us having whatever we have. The deepest, darkest depths of what existed between us, I'm the reason. And I acknowledge that. And I'm also not apologizing about it. Because that's what I, quote unquote, need to survive. Again, if we look at the artwork here, and this being a vampire, what do vampires need? Human blood. What's the cost of taking blood out of a human being's body? They die. So, this is very brutal, very dark. It's kind of, oh my gosh. What else with this? Dominion was the word I think I said. Dominion, thank you. So in typical, quote unquote, typical Aries fashion, they're on their game. They're doing what Aries does best. Moving and living in ways that serve them or put them at the helm. If it doesn't serve them, it puts them at the helm, puts them in the driver's seat. They're not at the beck and call of anyone else, and they like it this way. Some of them, they're in a single life, and they like that. They live alone, they're not involved with anybody, and they like it that way. The King of Wands is very intense, very passionate, very focused. Is a doer, is a go-getter, and answers to no one. No one. Nobody puts the King of Wands in check, except in terms of tarot, maybe the Emperor, right? The King of Wands stands on his own 2 feet, and I'm saying him only because there's a male on the card, okay? We could be talking about a female, it doesn't matter. But the King of Wands would never bow, no offense, to any of the other kings, to any of the queens. The King of Wands is not anybody, is beholden to no one. And that's how he likes it. And it's not because he is cold-hearted necessarily. It's not because he doesn't want other people in his life necessarily. It's because it fuels him. It's how he gets to be who he is. It comes naturally to this person to be this way. So whether they are single and loving it, whether they're single and hating it, that it gives them something. I can't really get too much more out of that other than, yeah, that's, whew. You guys got a big one. This is a crazy reading. Energetically speaking, this is crazy. Final message from Aries to the viewer. What would they like to say to the viewer? Final messages from Aries to the viewer. What would they like to say? Page of Pentacles. And the Queen of Wands. Anything else? Excuse me. They're starting over. They're starting over. Maybe some have gotten some pets in the time you guys have been away from each other, not communicating. But they're starting over. Anything else? No. Okay, thank you. I was like, I'm still shuffling this shit. They're like, no, but that's it. Page of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Yeah. Earth sign energy again, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Fire sign energy again, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Starting over, Page of Pentacles. New, fresh, young, vibrant. I don't know what that means. Some of you like grimaced when I said young, vibrant. Some of you were like, Some of you are like, Okay, so you know more about that than I do. But young, vibrant, some of them might be studying something new, moving to a new place. And again, like all those animals surrounding the page, some have, gotten pets, and they tell you, I got a new dog. Her name is Buffy, and she's the cutest thing. I don't know. But I feel a push, again, this push. Even though this page is stationary, she's sitting there and she's just hanging out in this what do you call it? Graveyard, thank you. I do, and the Queen of Wands also is stationary, she's sitting down. There is energetically propulsion, motion, movement. Aries is moving forward in their career, with their passions, with their relationships. There is no looking back. Thank you. That's the point. No looking back. As much as we've talked contextually about the past, the last portion that Aries wants you to know, I'm out. I'm moving on. Neither of these energies, neither of these characters is thinking of what happened before now. They want to know what's upcoming. I feel as though in some cases Aries might be into spell work. I mean, if you look at the Page of Pentacles a little bit, she looks like she could be like, doing a seance or some type of ritual in the graveyard there with all her little animal friends, okay? So some of them might be getting into this type of space. Maybe that was your influence, because again, you viewer, Aries, I'm pretty sure you're here, but this is again geared to those who are not talking to you, and maybe you influenced this in their life, or maybe Aries is, finding it naturally. But there is this sense of creation coming off of this Page of Pentacles, and being smart about it, being careful about it, being methodical about it, okay? There is this like confidence, which is obviously bolstered more by the Queen of Wands. There is a confidence coming off of the Page of Pentacles. This Queen of Wands is, just like the King. If he can do it, I can do it. Okay, King of Wands that we were talking about before, who is about dominion, who is about, what I can control and what I can create. The Queen of Wands is just the same. All right. In some of your cases, if this is about relationships or there was something about entanglements, Aries has found a partner in some cases. And they're equals. They are well matched. Some of you are already thinking that she can have him, he can have her. You see something about their union, and they know you see it. You see something about that new partner in their life, and you're kind of like, you deserve each other. And they're like, yeah, we do deserve each other. We understand each other's sensibilities. We understand each other's natural ways. There's something as sort of dismissive of having to be a vampire and to act a certain way that the King of Wands is. The Queen of Wands is the same way. I don't mind that Aries is a vampire, or this person that Aries has come around. I don't mind. I can deal with it because I'm the same way. So something like that. But that's not in all of your cases. That's only in a few, if I'm honest. Oh, and another candelabra. Not the same one, but another candelabra. 3 candles, all right? So just again, for those who know, like there was something about an attachment or something, whatever your relationship is with Aries, you know what it is. But Aries basically took their candelabra and met someone else who also had a candelabra. Like there's a match. There's like a matching of energies with someone new in some of the cases. If it's not about that. Okay. In some cases. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hold on. In some cases, Aries would tell you, you drained them. You drained them, viewer. Some of the cases, that's how Aries views you. You drained them. Now that that's over, the pain of the past and all this shit that happened, and again, we did say something about a Queen of Pentacles before, but now that that's over, Aries is finding themselves again, and they are feeling amazing. After you've drained them, they've created a new life for themselves, or they're recreating themselves with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Pentacles together. I'm not who you thought I was. I'm not who I used to be with you. Being with you was this and that to me, and now I'm someone else. I'm reinvented. So something like that. Y'all got some history. My God. All right, so that was Aries to you. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, let me know. But yeah, we're going to clear the deck now, and then we're going to do what you would say to Aries. So Aries, if you're here, if you're curious what this person will want to say to you, stick around. We're going to get to that message in a second. And of course, viewer, if you want to see, what the tarot thinks you would say, you can of course stick around as well. Let's go ahead and clear the deck of all the previous energies. Thank you. All right, we're good with that. But we're going to start with the Oracle. So this is from you, viewer, to Aries. This is the Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. Messages from the viewer to Aries. It's the Oracle message from The viewer to Aries, please. Ooh, I'm hungry. I need to eat something. Viewer to Aries, what's the message? Yes, thank you. Last one. Here we go. Viewer to Aries, what's the message? Okay. Is that right? Yeah. I couldn't even get this to shuffle, so we're going to take that top card. Okay. You got sensuality. Your freedom flowing from far away. I dance, I love, I laugh, I play. All right. You ain't waiting around. So you would say to Aries, I'm cool. Oh, this is card 21. 21 might be a significant number to you. Yeah, there's no dust on you. There's no cobwebs forming in your life. There is this freedom. Is that the word? Yeah, freedom that you're experiencing. You feel possibly more awakened, more enlightened, more, your senses might be popping, you know, you might be more clairvoyant, clairsentient if you're in this world, you know what I mean? You might be getting into that space. I think I mentioned that in one of the other readings because that lyric came across, but that Kelly Clarkson song, there you go. Since You've Been Gone, I'm not going to attempt to sing it, but that might be in the mix here, or that message might be in the mix. I can breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on. Yeah, something like that. I don't really like that song. So, and I don't think I've ever listened to it fully on my own for my own purposes. But anyway, here we go. Sensuality. Mermaids are celebrated for their sensuality, their sovereignty, their beauty, and their freedom. They revel in their desirability, and we are going to work with them in this powerful, liberating spell. If this spell has chosen you, be reminded that it is safe to explore and celebrate your sensual self. Your sexuality is yours to celebrate, explore, share, and adore. The universe does not punish us for being who we are, yet many of us carry conditioned guilt from religions and families who have feared punishment for the enjoyment of their own sensual selves. The universe wants you to know that your sensuality is sacred and that allowing its power to be expressed is part of being alive. Your sexuality is part of your divine nature. There is no shame in being desired, and yet remaining sovereign. If you have chosen this spell, you may be aware that you have some issues around your sexuality. Many people feel guilt around sex. This is not anything new. Guilt and shame disconnect us from the great source of self-love, energy, and power and worth. This spell will assist you in expressing yourself sensually, becoming freer and less concerned about judgment. You will be able to revel in sensual enjoyment without obligation, cost, loss, freedom, or guilt. Be free and happy in your sensual, sovereign self. So there's like a spell in here. I'm not going to read that portion, but okay. That's interesting because maybe that's it. Oh man, look at that bird out there. I actually have my blinds up today. Look at that little puffy bird out there. He's so cute. Anyway, that was a big bird too. So, three of Swords came out on Aries' side. 7 of Swords came out on their side. Again, I got this energy that it could go either way. That whole cheating scenario, third-party situation, deception, whatever it is. So maybe you, viewers, stepped out on Aries and the pain and the burden and the betrayal that exists between the pair of you. Again, I did say that at the end. Some Aries feel like you drained them. And part of your draining, part of you you guys coming to this place of no communication is because some of you viewers have explored your sensuality or expanded your sexuality, stepped out of a relationship, whatever it is. And that is something you would tell them, like, yeah, I did it. Or, you know, maybe some of you would apologize and say, yes, I did it. I'm sorry. But again, ooh, this is a deep one. All right, so let's get some messages from the viewer to Aries. What are the messages from the viewer to Aries? What would they say to Aries? If the lines of communication were to open up, if they were to reach out and speak to them, what would they like to tell Aries? despite the no communication between them. I can't wait to eat. I am so hungry. Messages from viewer to Aries. Are you also not wanting to speak? Which makes sense. This doesn't feel like people who want to talk to each other, if I'm honest. Like, what would be the point? It's kind of what this feels like. What would be the point? Five of Cups reversed. Hierophant. That's too many. Or maybe not. Oh, we'll take it. Okay, Three of Cups and the Seven of Cups. I thought it was more than that. 1 second, I'm going to clear my nose. 1 second. And we're back. Okay, so Five of Cups in reverse. Hierophant. Three of Cups and Seven of Cups. Which together equals the Ten of Cups, but they're separated now, so that is what it was, huh? You used to have the Ten of Cups, maybe? Anyway, so viewer, you would tell Aries, Five of Cups in reverse. I'm over it. I'm over the sorrow over this. The loss, maybe you acknowledge the loss, maybe you realize the loss and own it, or you know, I mean, that's the reality. You know, something has you know, changed between you. But your emotions about it, you're not, I don't want to say you're not worried, but it doesn't keep you up at night. It's not a part of your conscious everyday life. Let's say that. The hurt, the pain, the sadness, the depression, hopefully, hopefully, in most of your cases, you're over that. That's what this feels like. I'm over it. You know, whether you mean that or not, whether you're saying that just to be, you know, cool and aloof, or whether you truly mean it and you've actually, you know, gotten some healing, who knows? But I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Oh, and I didn't show you this in the upright. This is a brand new deck. Let me see. There you go. That's what it looks like in the upright, just so you can get a look at it. But yeah, you're over it. You're not, the hurt, like the rawness, there you go. The rawness of it is over. Hierophant next to it. Major Arcana for Taurus. You could be a Taurus, or there could be a Taurus of significance, or not at all. But some of you, I mean, this is to be, you know, facetious, but maybe some of you have had an exorcism, or you feel as though you need an exorcism, or you needed an exorcism to get over this. But I'm being like really facetious. I'm being really tongue-in-cheek with that. More to the point, it feels as though you needed to have strength and faith. Or you would say this, I had strength on my side. Very close to the artwork, I had God on my side, or I had some type of spiritual backup team. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever you think you did to me, or whatever you think I did to you, I have persevered through faith. I have persevered through staying true to my beliefs, or my sensibilities, or this is interesting. So the flip is about to happen almost. It's almost like a flip. Or you would say to Aries, you represent some type of structure, some type of restriction that, you know, because remember what the oracle said, something about the guilt of religion, or sometimes we're guilted to be ashamed of ourselves, of our bodies, of our sensuality or sexuality due to religion or conditioning, right? So you might say to Aries, I'm done with that. Either Aries represented that to you, or this was something in your life that you were brought up in, and you're over it, over that type of restriction, over that type of guilt, over that type of shame, and feeling, you know, somehow wrong being who you were. Something like that. Interesting. That'll go both ways. I like that. Because some of you are over the pain and you relied on your faith. You relied on your religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, whatever it is, and it has carried you through and gotten you to a better place. Or some of you have stood up in face of religion, or in the face of restrictive conditioning and rules and regulations and prescriptive ways of living, and you've said, no, that hurts me or restricts me or isn't true to, it's not a part of my truth. So it goes both ways. Interesting. And I mean, that kind of was going on Aries' side too. It goes both ways. Aries was, some were blaming themselves, some were blaming you. Now, next part of your message from Aries, or excuse me, from you viewer to Aries, is the Three of Cups and the Seven of Cups. Again, all together equals 10 of Cups, but these have been split apart. So at some point, maybe you and Aries had the 10 of Cups together. 10 of Cups is wish or dreams come true. Dreams. Dreams come true over there with their oracle card. So, but that's no longer the case. Now we have the Three of Cups and the Seven of Cups. So some of you, you're out there enjoying yourselves, being social, doing your day-to-day life, meeting up with friends, making new friends, getting new hobbies, or, adventuring. Maybe some of you are drinking, going to vineyards, bar crawls, whatever it is, but you're enjoying yourselves. Now, in this deck, interestingly enough, we do see the underbelly of what the Three of Cups is. Often it hides or masks this person who is in a, let's say, an emotional stasis, or being overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed, take that back. Not overwhelmed. Being submerged. Submerged in something emotional, right? So some of you might tell Aries, I'm having a good time with my life. I'm out here, I'm meeting new people, I'm making new friends and all that kind of stuff. I'm reconnecting. In many cases, Three of Cups talks about reunions with old friends or family members you haven't seen. But there is still, in some cases, there's an emotional dissonance going on. You're smiling in pictures, you're having a good time, but there could be a part of you that's still upset or not fully out of the depths, which again is a little contradictory to what we talked about here in the Five of Cups being over it. Okay. So you know how that is in breakups, or you lose contact or closeness with friendships. In your day-to-day, you're on, you're doing whatever you need to do. Your Five of Cups is like, no, I mean, I'm functioning. But maybe in like a dream space, or maybe in the subconscious, again with this submerged feeling, there is still this acknowledgement of, I mean, look at her. She's kind of reaching for the surface. So there is this desire to break out of, to be fully out of it, okay? So maybe there's remnants between you and Aries. Maybe you guys still run in the same social circles, You want to go out and party with your friends, but you see that Aries was invited, or that Aries is intending to go, and you're like, I can't go because Aries is going to be there. It's like that. Oh my God, with this congestion, I apologize. Now, Seven of Cups along with it. Weighing of options, looking at what you can choose to do going forward. What's going to make you happy? What option do you have that's going to soothe or propel you forward, or set you on a new path, or give you, something's going to put a smile on your face. I don't know what has transpired, because the sensuality card coming from you, viewer, towards Aries is about this. I'm free. I'm flowing. I'm out here enjoying my life, and I'm not going to be guilted, or I'm not open or appreciative of people who want to punish me for that. So there might be apprehension. Thank you. There might be apprehension in this choice that you've made, or in the choices that you're going to make going forward. You might tell Aries that. Like, if you were to be honest with Aries from an emotional standpoint, because these are cups and these are cups too, from an emotional standpoint, you might tell Aries, being who I am, or moving forward in this way, whatever happened is in the past, but going forward, you might have this uncertainty about you, insecurity about you, emotionally speaking. If you walk away from traditional values with the with the Hierophant, If you move away from traditional values, maybe you had a very traditional relationship with Aries, marriage, in terms of family, maybe this is like, brother, sister, older brother, younger sister, or vice versa, whatever it is, paying homage to your older sibling, being respectful, whatever it is, right? Whatever traditions existed in your family life or in your friendship circle, whatever, and you break from that mold, you break away from those traditions, it could leave you in a very emotionally insecure place. So you don't regret the actions. I don't get that sense that you regret the actions that have taken place, or you don't regret anything that's led you to this present moment, viewer, but you would tell Aries, I'm still finding my way about this. I'm still understanding what I'm going through or what has transpired between us or where I'm going forward, right? With the Seven of Cups. How do I move forward? What are the choices that I make now? In some cases, if this is about a breakup, if this is about the loss of a marriage or the loss of some type of long-term commitment, because that also with the Hierophant is also a marriage card or long-term commitment. If this is about you guys no longer being married and you're going back out into the dating world, or you're rediscovering your sexuality, in some of your cases, maybe you were in a heterosexual marriage. Now that you're divorced, you're going into a homosexual relationship or whatever it is, vice versa. It doesn't matter. There might be a little uncertainty about that, a little insecurity about that. If you have never been in the LGBTQ plus community, and now you're a member of that community, and you're like in your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, it's like you got a lot to learn. What else would the viewer say to Aries? What are the next messages from the viewer to Aries? What else would they like to say to them? What am I gonna have to eat? At this point, it's like lunch. Death card. Transformation. I ain't what I used to be. 10 of Wands. It's hard. Struggle a little bit, maybe. And again to the floor. I can't wait to get a bigger table. Come here. There we go. And the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Death card. Major Arcana for Scorpio. 10 of Wands. We've seen this one before. And the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Earth sign energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. You could be an Earth sign, you don't have to be, blah, 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 blah. But that's what it looks like in the upright, just so you can get used to it. All right, so here's the strugs. So I feel you're resolute. I feel that you acknowledge you're over it. The past is the past. We can't go back there. I'm at the point in my life where I'm at, you're where you are, and that's fine. On your side viewer, you would tell Aries, the transformation is afoot, the transformation is happening, and it is not always easy. Death card. It is about change, transformation. It is about moving from one. All right, let's try this again. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it. I think. We'll see how much time we have. Okay, so I apologize about that. So yeah, moving on. Transformation, new way of being, and it's not easy, right? Death is not the most embraced energy in life or tarot, but it has to be. It has to be. There is no avoidance of it. Whether we're talking about, mortal death, or we're talking about people, maturing or moving on, it is inevitable. So you acknowledge the change that you're going through, or the change that Aries is going through, or what's transpired between you. All of it is inevitable. It had to be that way, or it had to come in some form or fashion, right? 10 of Wands next to it. Not easy, not comfortable, and that restrictive energy is here again. So maybe some of you would say to Aries, our relationship, marriage, whatever it was, friendship, whatever it was restrictive. Maybe you come from a religious family, and that upbringing was restrictive to you. You had to break away from it. You had to change away from that. You had to transform yourself. You had to move on from that historical way of being. Something like that. Not easy is how they just like, not easy, not easy, not easy. You recognize that this was not easy for yourself. You might say to Aries, I recognize it's not easy for you to accept that from me. And maybe that's why you guys aren't communicating. If you come from a religious background, or you have certain conventional beliefs about sexuality, and you, viewer, have come out in some type of way, or you're living your life in a certain way that Aries cannot accept, you realize that's a burden. My change, my transformation, my becoming who I'm meant to be, whatever it is burdensome to you, as much as it is to me. I feel much more acceptance here, or not even much more. I do feel both sides accept the differences, accept the separation, accept that you're not talking. I don't know that either side would want to speak to the other. I really don't. And here you are watching this video, so maybe this is all you need. I don't know. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So the journey and the movement forward on your side, viewer, is much slower than Aries. And that kind of, again, speaks to Aries, their archetype. They charge forward. They don't spend a lot of time in reflection. They don't usually self-edit or self-audit, more to the point, self-audit themselves. They usually, it's very quick, their recovery time, let's say that. The time it takes an Aries to get back out there and start to do whatever they were doing before or do something different is very quick. For you, it's a slower process to see these changes take place, or to become comfortable with the changes, to become comfortable with the aspect of moving on, of letting go, right? You're slower to do this, but you will do it, because the thing about the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is, the Knight of Pentacles in general is, it will be a job that gets done. This Knight takes their purpose, their mission, very seriously. What's the mission here? To heal, to move on, to live authentically, to live a more sensual life, to be more aware of yourself, to be more authentic to yourself, whatever it is, to let someone leave you or to walk away from, whatever it is. That mission will be accomplished. It's just slower. And again, has some emotional insecurity behind it. So maybe that's something that you need to take care of, or maybe that's something you would or would not admit to them. I don't know. But it feels very much like two sides of an issue, two sides of a relationship. They know, I feel both of you know what you had together is done. For better, for worse, it's done. Because when you're together, or when you guys were together, it wasn't good. Or at least towards the end, it wasn't good. Whatever it is. This is what this feels like. That was pretty easy, that line. Thank you. All right, anything else from the viewer to Aries? Viewer to Aries, please. All right. 5 of Pentacles. Jeez. And 2 together. I apologize for how I sound. Queen of Cups and King of Cups. Well. Things just got a little interesting. 5 of Pentacles. All right. Some of you feel left out in the cold, left in the dust. If Aries is the one, which again, they're faster with it. They're more, on top of it. They're more proactive, let's say, with getting over this and moving forward and whatever. So they're out. They're on to the next, or doing what they're doing. And that might leave you feeling like abandoned, or that you don't have much in terms of Pentacles. If you had financial responsibilities towards each other, or some type of shared finances, some of you might, be penny pinching. You might be looking at your bank account going, oh, well, I'm not going out tonight. Got to save this money, because, you're used to having shared income, some of you with Aries. But I feel that this is like something you're grappling with. This is something that you would tell Aries, listen, I'm not totally in the poorhouse. Okay, this is not a full-on, this is a challenge because it's a 5, right? And in this line, you have another 5. I'm not like laying this out particularly to be in line with each other, but you do have 2 5s. So you do have challenges before you, viewer. 5s are challenges. They're about conflict and all that kind of stuff, right? So you acknowledge that. But I do feel you still moving forward. Like, okay, there you go. Time doesn't stop. And like your life can't be put on hold just because you don't feel rich enough, or you don't feel that you have enough, that you don't have much of a leg to stand on. It doesn't mean you get to sit this out. It doesn't mean that you get to, wallow, I do feel energetically you push forward despite, looking at your bank account and being, okay, that's like $200 less than what I'm used to seeing, or you might be calculating, paying bills is like, okay, that one is due on the 15th. I can take care of that, but that next bill is due on the 19th, and I don't have enough money to cover that. So there is maybe some acknowledgement that you don't have enough to cover your bases as of now, as of yet. If this is about a marriage that has, dissolved and is completely eradicated, it will take some time to recalibrate, to get back into feeling that you can take care of yourself. But again, I feel like there's this like eventual resolution to that issue, okay? Especially in terms of money. It sucks right now. It's a little tight right now. It's not what it's again, it's like, I mean, if you see what's on the card, those are like lobsters or crabs, maybe a frog. What do crabs do? They pinch with their claws. They pinch. And it's very, you could lose a freaking finger dealing with crabs and lobsters, right? So it's this tightness around your money. So some of you might have colorful words like, I can't pay my this and that, there is just this acknowledgement. I can't take care of things the way I used to when we were in contact, whether it's a marriage, whether it's friendship, whether it's whatever. There's something of, I can't do everything I used to do. Like you know what I mean? Especially in terms of money. They're like, especially in terms of money. What else would you say? That's interesting. Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And I say it's interesting because, I mean, you see these two figures. What are they? They're angels, right? Almost the opposite of what Aries had on their side, which was the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, which were vampires. Or at least the King of Wands was a vampire, at least. Now, here we go having another pair. This could be... What is this? One, it's an emotional graduation. I'm gonna say that. This is emotional maturation. This is emotional ownership. And I feel like a real peace and serenity. Thank you. Peace and serenity. Okay. Going way back to the Hierophant, which some of you were using it as, I'm relying on my faith. I'm trusting in my God. I'm trusting in my spiritual practice to get me through this. Here's where it comes through. All right. Apologies, viewer. Apologies, Aries, whoever you might be. Struggles with the storage on this camera. Your girl should be getting a new camera soon, new setup soon. So hopefully this won't continue into the future. So I had to step away for quite a while to take care of what was going on with the camera. So let's see if I can pick up where I left off, because I don't like to do too much off camera. I try to keep it as in the moment as possible. So what did we have here? We had the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And I think I was saying something about serenity, right? Serenity, and these are angels. Oh, right, because... Okay, yeah, because on Aries' side, it was the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and at least one of them looked like a vampire. Okay, so angels usually, I mean, they're not the opposite of a vampire, but they're not from the same neighborhood, let's say that. So some of you viewers might say to Aries, I've come into contact with people or new friendships, new relationships, or I've gotten back in touch with people, or at least gotten into, well, in some of your cases, a significant relationship, a significant connection with someone who is my equal as well. Because I think I was saying something about that with Aries to you, was that Aries had met an equal in some of those cases. Some of you may, kind of up the ante on Aries and be like, yeah, I met my equal too, and we are, of this quality, this water sign, well, water or cups energy, this very effusive, emotionally vulnerable, or at least emotionally adept. That's typical of like cups and water energy, and again, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You don't have to be, there doesn't have to be a water sign in the mix, just to illustrate the point. So, and this is a matter of perspective, nobody here is coming from objective truth. There is no objective truth here on Earth amongst humans. It's impossible. So you saying to Aries, I've met my match as well, or I've met, the ideal boyfriend, girlfriend, business partner. I've gotten back in contact with someone that I fell out of contact with, and we've started anew, whatever you're saying. And the fact that it's come out with this imagery of like these angels versus the imagery of Aries pairing, which was a little darker, a little bit more demonic, for lack of a better word, it's all perspective. Okay, so I don't want people to get like all offended and be like, that person's relationship is garbage. They think they've met the perfect person. It's a matter of perspective. So as much as you, viewer, might see Aries and their connection as being false or wrong, or somehow, just you disapprove, right? And you approve of your own, the flip could be the same. And those are two subjective truths, okay? Objective truth is not really a thing. Oh wow, those are like big crab legs. That's hilarious. I think that's what that is. That's funny. But more to the point, serenity and peace is kind of the vibe that I get when I hold these two cards. When I look at them, I don't see a pair of people, whether it be romantic or anything else, it doesn't matter, but I don't get this sense of any arduous energy or anything that's difficult. If you are coming into contact with someone that's new, viewer, or you've reestablished a connection with an old friend or something like that, it feels very seamless, it feels very peaceful, it feels very calm. The interesting thing about that, or rather the caveat is that my guides are giving me, is that there is caution in it being so perfect right now. Okay? If you are meeting someone new, dating, otherwise, it doesn't matter, and they're amazing, and you would want to tell Aries that, or if they asked, hey, are you seeing anybody? Yes, I am, and he's an amazing person. Or yes, I am, and she's, the best thing since sliced bread. That's for right now. No person on this earth is perfect. No person on this earth is an angel, okay? So there's something about making sure your perspective remains open or flexible, or open to being edited or amended in some type of way. But as of now, especially for those where, this was a matter of sexuality or sensuality, and having or making certain connections based off of or maybe not based off of, but in opposition to maybe how you were raised in terms of church, or in terms of morality, right? This is you coming into a gay relationship, or you coming into, whatever you're doing, and it's in opposition of something from your past. It's going to feel very serene. It's going to feel incredibly angelic, or it's going to be otherworldly. Let's say it that way. It's like this. There you go. That's the word I've been dancing around. Divine. It's going to feel divine, right? From your perspective. And I'm not here to knock it or challenge anybody's beliefs. That's not the point of my channel. Never would be. Never will be. Well, at least religious beliefs. I'm going to say that because I think religious beliefs are super personal. Same way I think spiritual beliefs are very personal. But there's something here where you would tell Aries, despite the abject poverty, really, despite whatever feelings of lack you might have in your money, or even lack in terms of your physical surroundings or security, right? Maybe some, if this is about, maybe you were roommates, maybe as roommates, as friends, you ended on bad terms. And maybe now, you guys used to like, rent a house together. Maybe now you live in a studio apartment, whatever it is. And even though you've downgraded in some type of way in your money or your physical surroundings, right? You also have this glow up, or this, God, all these words, this like ascension, this leveling up in certain relationships, whether that be a relationship with yourself, it could be that you could have this very simpatico, sure, simpatico, we'll say that, simpatico relationship within yourself, you could feel masterful over your own emotions, or at least this is the goal that you're going for if you haven't attained it just yet. And whatever it may be, another person or within yourself, it's, in one aspect, you would tell Aries, everything might not be kosher or what it used to be, or I might not be comfortable or have the security that I want in my physical world, but my emotional world, I feel you would tell them it's developing, and it's becoming stronger, or it's becoming peaceful. It's just better. And and the funny thing is, when I say it's better, I don't think most of you would throw it in Aries' face. I'm better now. I don't need you. I don't think your tone would be nasty. I don't think that your tone would be vindictive or vengeful in any type of way. I think you would literally say, I'm good, or I'm getting better, or I'm happier with this person, or I'm happier living this life. And, again, I have more peace. I'm calm. Maybe the rhythm between you, or the energy between you guys was very rocky, very volatile. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like from Aries' perspective, at least. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a shared energy, and then we're going to wrap up. Nothing is ever short on my channel. I need to accept that, because, it's just the way I am as a reader right now. But let's get a shared energy between the two of you, and then we will be done. Shared energy, what's the shared energy at this moment between the viewer and the Aries they're not in communication with? What's the shared energy here? Again, I really feel neither one of you necessarily wants to communicate with the other. That's not really the purpose of these readings, by the way. It's really just to look in and see what's the temperature right now. And it doesn't feel like either side is even thinking of reconnecting. So I guess that's good. What's the shared energy between the viewer and the Aries they're not in communication with at this moment? Thank you. Good. Thank you. One card, please. Shared energy. Thank you. Always to the floor. Always to the floor, floor, floor. And we got the Tower card. Eesh. Well, Aries is showing up again. This is their secondary major. So Aries and viewer, or viewer and Aries, you guys share the Tower energy. Talk about it, be about it. What? Why am I saying that? Oh, we'll talk about it. Like, what were we talking about before? How, well, actually, this plays to both sides. Because remember, there was a little bit more of a darker imagery with Aries messages to you, viewer, and then a little lighter with you towards Aries. That exists in the Tower card. The scary part of the Tower card is that it's destructive, it looks tormenting, it doesn't look like a walk in the park, it doesn't look like a thing that any of us would want to experience. However, it is necessary. Why? Because it's a faulty foundation that this tower was built on, because it's an unstable foundation, because the inhabitants of the tower, or whatever exists within that building, is no longer feasible, it's no longer beneficial, right? So it has to be crumbled to the ground. Now, what's the upside of that? You can start anew. You can build something new. You can walk away, right? So, I mean, you can kind of see it in the artwork. Someone from in the tower was blown up and ejected, right? And it's not going to end well for them wherever they land. It's going to be painful. But then the woman on the ground, even though she's distressed, she's on the ground. She's, we can presume, on her own 2 feet. And it's horrible for everyone involved. However many people were are going to be affected by the Tower, but there is this sense of once the dust settles, people can get on to living their lives, and people can get on to going down their paths the way they need to. Some, one side or the other, or multiple, or both sides, it might not be as easy for one side or the other, or both sides, it doesn't really matter, but the leveling of it is the benefit. Clean slate is what happens with the Tower card. And again, it's not always a walk in the park. This doesn't look like something I would want to experience. Someone said, hey Jay, do you want to go stand really close to that tower over there and watch it explode? Or do you want to be inside when the tower explodes? No thank you to both. No thank you. But in terms of what is transpiring between you and the Aries viewer, that clean slate, that leveling of whatever existed between you and the way in which it happened, it was all necessary. Because this is a major arcana, right? And major arcanas are always, 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 always an influence from the ethereal, an influence from the cosmic, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, okay? All right, guys, that is the reading. If you liked it, the like button is down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. No communication readings. I don't know when I'm going to bring them back. They take a lot out of me energetically, I'm discovering. And so I'm not sure when I will do this series again, but, you know, if you're subscribed, you'll see it eventually pop up again. Make sure that you comment down below if you want to share how this resonated in your life. I would love to read those stories. Share it, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I will be back soon doing the monthly videos for March and then the mid-monthlies sometime after that. If you happen to be a Pisces and you want to get a tarot reading with me, I'm probably going to do that on the 7th, March 7th, here on my channel live. So if you happen to be a Pisces and you have a question for me, go ahead and stop by the chat on that day, and I will work with you, and I'll answer you as best as I can with my decks, okay? All right, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.